All right, so today we're diving deep into something pretty crucial in the world of SAP. Uh,
SAP Basis Administration?
yeah, basis administration. These folks are kind of like the unsung heroes.
Absolutely. They keep those massive, complex systems running smoothly.
Yeah, and to help us really get a grip on what makes a great SAP basis admin, we've got insights from a real pro.
Ayub Sheikh?
Yeah, expert recruiter trainer Ayub Sheikh. He's been in this game for over 24 years.
24 years, so he really knows his stuff.
So this isn't just going to be like, reading off a boring job description.
No.
This is like insider knowledge, right? We're going to uncover the skills, the tools, even the kind of interview questions.
No, yeah, we'll get into some insightful questions you can use in interviews.
That can help us spot the real talent, So let's get right into it. Ayub, he breaks down the basis administrator's duties into like these key areas. And I think the first one that really jumps out is system administration.
Right, and you might be thinking, system administration? Sounds pretty standard IT, right?
Yeah, like help desk stuff.
But it's not your typical IT support at all. These folks, they're like the architects, A&D, the construction crew of this whole SAP world.
So it's big. It's a big job. So they handle the installations.
Yes. Installation, configuration of SAP systems, applying upgrades. They make sure the whole system's running smoothly.
Yeah.
And it is intricate.
Yeah, it's not just about like building it and walking away. It's about constantly like keeping it at peak performance.
Yeah.
And Ayub talks about performance tuning, which to me, that sounds like a never-ending balancing act.
It really is. Imagine like a high-performance race car, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Every component needs to be just perfectly tuned to squeeze out like the maximum speed and efficiency.
Yeah.
That's what these admins do, but for these massive SAP systems.
So like constantly tweaking things and trying to figure out how to, improve it bit by bit, right?
Absolutely. They analyze performance bottlenecks, they find areas for improvement, implement solutions, and they got to keep things running smoothly even when the system is under like a heavy load.
Which it probably is a lot of the time.
Oh yeah, especially with big businesses relying on these systems 24/7.
And we, of course, can't forget about security. Ayub mentioned security and disaster recovery, right?
Big huge responsibility there.
And I can only imagine the pressure that comes with making sure that all that is up to par.
Oh, for sure. These admins, they're the guardians of the company's most valuable asset, right? The data.
So we're talking about like protecting against data breaches, making sure things are backed up, that sort of thing.
Exactly. They implement the security protocols, make sure all the compliance regulations are met, and they develop those disaster recovery plans.
Yeah.
Just in case of a system crash or, if data's lost, it's high stakes.
Well, speaking of tools, Ayub gives us a little peek into the basis administrator's toolbox. And it's packed. I mean, we got some of the usual suspects in there, right? Oracle databases and stuff.
Right, the familiar ones.
But then he mentions SAP Solution Manager. What is that exactly?
So SAP Solution Manager, think of it as like the central command center for managing and monitoring the entire SAP landscape.
Okay.
So it's got tools for monitoring the system, analyzing performance, managing incidents, even handling changes.
So they can see everything that's happening in the system from this one tool.
Pretty much, yeah. It's a seriously powerful suite that helps keep those basis administrators on top of their game.
And then there's Nagios.
Nagios, yes.
Ayub specifically calls that one out. What's so special about that?
Nagios is all about proactive monitoring. It's constantly keeping an eye on the critical system components,
Okay.
And it alerts administrators if there's like potential issues, but before those issues become major problems.
So it's like a warning system.
Exactly. It's like having a smoke detector for your SAT system.
I get it.
You don't want to wait till there's a fire to start taking action.
Yeah. Makes total sense. And of course, we can't forget about backup solutions.
Of course not. Backups are crucial.
Ayub mentions IBM Tivoli. I'm guessing that's one of the big names when it comes to data protection.
Yeah, IBM Tivoli Storage Manager. They call it TSM sometimes.
TSM, okay.
It's designed for those large, complex environments that are running SAP. It makes sure that critical data is backed up, regularly.
Yeah.
And it can be restored quickly in case of, a disaster.
So we've seen some of the tools, but what about the human element? What are the skills that really make a great basis administrator stand out? Ayub, he goes beyond the technical stuff. He says analytical skills are absolutely crucial.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because remember, these admins are dealing with some really complex performance issues.
Yeah.
So they need to be able to analyze data, identify patterns, like you said, pinpoint the root cause of the problem.
So they're kind of like detectives almost, right?
Exactly. They're problem solvers, they're investigators.
And they can't do it all in isolation, right? Because Ayub mentions communication skills too.
Oh, absolutely. Basis administrators, they got to be able to work with like all these different people, from the developers to the business users.
Yeah.
And they got to explain, sometimes really complex technical concepts in a way that everyone can understand.
So they're kind of like the translators.
Right.
Translating the techie stuff into like plain English.
Yeah, they bridge the gap between the technology and the people using it. It's a people skill just as much as it is a technical skill.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Ayub, he even mentions project management skills and security skills, of course. So we're talking about like a seriously well-rounded individual.
Multifaceted.
But let's get into the actual like interview.
The interview questions, yeah.
Yeah, the nitty-gritty. Ayub, he suggests some really interesting scenarios. Like, it's not just basic questions.
Right, these are scenarios that really put the candidate's skills to the test.
Yeah. So, for example, one of the things he brings up is problem solving.
Yes.
How would you assess that?
So imagine you're in the interview, right? And you say to the candidate, okay, the system is suddenly running slow. It's impacting critical business processes. Walk me through like your first steps to diagnose this problem.
Okay.
What tools are you going to use? Who are you going to communicate with? What information would you gather?
Oh, that's such a smart approach.
Right.
Because it's not just like, how would you handle a performance bottleneck? It's like, you're actually putting them in the situation.
Exactly. You're getting them to think on their feet, and you're also seeing how they communicate their process.
It's so much more revealing. And another great question that he suggests is about backup and recovery procedures. Right?
Oh yeah, that's a crucial one. Because you want to know that they understand the importance of data integrity.
So what kind of scenario could you present there?
You could say, imagine some critical data has been accidentally deleted.
Okay.
How would you approach recovering that data? What steps would you take? What are the things you'd consider? You really get to see their experience, how much attention to detail they have.
And you mentioned earlier that migration experience is super crucial.
Absolutely.
But with cloud solutions becoming like more and more common these days,
Yeah.
is that still as important as it used to be?
That is a great question.
Yeah.
And while cloud migration brings its own set of challenges,
Right.
the underlying principles of data management, system configuration, those still apply.
Okay.
So having that hands-on experience with on-premise migration
Yeah.
can definitely still be a valuable asset for a candidate.
Okay. Cool. All right. So Ayub's golden nugget for recruiters:
Just top tip.
prioritize candidates with hands-on migration experience and strong problem-solving skills.
I think we can see why those are so valuable, especially in the ever-changing world of SAP.
It's always evolving.
Always.
Well, as we wrap up, I think it's interesting to consider like how cloud computing and AI
Oh, yeah.
are going to continue to change this role even further, right?
That's something to really think about, right? What new challenges will come up? What kind of opportunities will this role become even more specialized? Or will it need like this broader understanding of all these new technologies?
Yeah, it's a lot to think about. Well, thanks for diving deep with us today. Hopefully this has given you some really good insights into the world of SAP basis administration
Yeah,
and what to look for in a top-notch candidate.
absolutely. Until next time.
See ya.